Hey guys! So, different setup. I just wanted to switch up the lighting, and usually I'm always filming later on in the day, so I don't get to enjoy natural light as much as I would like, so that's why we're filming in natural light today. So, I think I'm gonna make a makeup look. Well, I know I'm gonna make a makeup look. Today I want to make a look with the Bare Necessities palette by Colourpop. I don't know why, but every time I hear or I see the name of this, I think of like the Jungle Book, the Bare Necessities. They probably did that on purpose, but I just think of it every time, and I sing it every time I use this. I need the bare necessities. Okay, I feel like that's pretty accurate. You can see my bags because I'm tired, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go into my bucket of concealers. So I think I'm gonna go in with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This is the shade Light 45W. I got this so when I'm wearing my tanner, it would be a nice color on my eye. I kind of decided I don't want to keep putting on my self tanner for the winter, so I kind of won't be using it a whole lot, but for now I can use it. And also I bought the brush roll that comes with well, it doesn't come with it, but it was like being sold also with the palette. I didn't get the bundle, but I could still buy them separately, so I don't really understand how that works. But I did buy the little sponge. I didn't know how small it was actually going to be. I thought it was bigger, but it's not. Maybe I got the wrong sponge. I don't know. Is there more than one sponge? So this look is going to be centered around this shade right here, Rimmered, which is like a nice kind of taupey shade, because I feel like that today. So I'm also going to try to use, well, I've been playing around with some of the brushes in the thing. As you can see, the ones that are dirty and then the ones that still have the plastic around them. But I've been playing around with these because I wanted some new brushes and I want to see if these are good or not. And so far I'm kind of liking them. I do have like a favorite, and it's the Colourpop E19. Like, this is such a good brush. I really like it. I love the size, I love the shape, everything. It's like perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go into Full Expose, which is right here. It's like a creamy shade. I'm just swatching my finger. Looks like that. It's like a yellowy cream bone shade, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to go in with this fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and basically highlight my brow bone. I didn't even do my brows. I'm working backwards today. But I'm just going to pat this right here, kind of like at the arch, and then just whatever's left, bring it forward. Why am I yellow? Why am I yellow? Why am I yellow? I can't figure out why I'm yellow. Why do I look blurry? I'm looking yellow, but I can't. I guess that's the lighting. It's warm. Do I want to... I think I might add the ring light on there. Yeah. Just to help with the lighting going on. Yeah, maybe. And that was, if you're curious, it was the E15 brush from Colourpop. So, like, I'm going to mention these. You don't need these. But if you bought it and you're curious and you want to like use them or see what brushes I'm using for certain purposes for this look, I'm just going to tell you what the number is on the brush, so, you know, if you want to use it, you can, and like follow along, you know. Take this as a guide to make this look, or, you know, follow it step by step, exactly. Whatever you want to do. Taking the E16 brush, which is like a more denser kind of a crease brush, but I'm going to go in with the shade All For You, which is right here. And I feel like my camera is going to wash it out just a tiny bit, but it's, see how it's like a nicer kind of grayish purple shade? Something along those lines. I'm going to put it on my eye and I'm going to really blend this out. It's essentially going to be the crease color that we got going on. So I'm focusing in my crease. I always start out here on this portion of my eye and then bring it in, because I always seem to go a tad heavy-handed. So I'd rather have the most pigment out here, and then I can bring it in here and not worry about overdoing it, because if anything, I feel like when you have a lot of shadow on the inner portion of your eye right here, it can make your look and make your makeup look more messy and just unblended, and it takes a lot of work to blend this out, and there's not a lot of space, so you know, you're gonna look a little too harsh, and it's just not gonna look as nice as you would want it. So I always just kind of start out here, because if anything, I can blend out this way and just call it a blown out look, you know. Whereas if you have a really heavy concentration here, you can't really mask it, you know what I mean? And then just kind of use a really light hand. You don't need to use a lot of pressure on your eye. Your eye is very delicate, and I have to remind myself this too, because when I'm in a hurry, sometimes I'm like blending it out, and then my eye hurts because I shouldn't have done that. I'm just using really light motions and just kind of doing circles, especially out here, to help kind of soften it a little bit. But like people say, when you hold it from the end, you're more delicate. So every time I do go back to dip into the shade and I start to blend it again, if you've noticed, I kind of start even farther out on my eye. I don't start exactly back here again. I kind of like, alright, this is the first layer, the second, now we're at the third. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like that's a really good way to kind of keep yourself from putting too much of a shade in one spot and then it doesn't look blended. It looks really blotchy, or looks really like just messy. I don't know how else to explain it. So now I'm going to go in with the shade Act a Fool, which is on the same row. It's darker purple right here. Yeah. It's almost like a mulberry kind of purple. It kind of reminds me of a shade in the Renaissance palettes. Yeah, kind of reminds me of a shade in the Renaissance palette. If you have the Modern Renaissance, you could probably do this look with it too. Okay, so taking Act a Fool, I'm taking the same brush. And then I'm just going to focus this on the outer portion of my eye. So sometimes if you look in the mirror, you can kind of like find it right here if you have a similar eye shape to me. Some people go in an angle. And usually when I look in my mirror, I am kind of turning my head in an angle so I can kind of see it. And then I just focus it on the outside right here. Definitely leave the most concentrated portion on the outer portion of your eye. And another reason why I kind of like this brush is that like you can blend it, but since it has that tiny little point, I can kind of, if you see, I go from here and I tilt it upward, and I'll start to blend this up a little just to kind of shape my eye. I'm gonna try this brush. I haven't tried this yet. This is the Colourpop E18 brush, which looks like it's a shader brush that's a little fluffy-ish. So I'm gonna take Rumored, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on the lid. Really what I do when it comes to shimmers is I start in the center, bring it out to my inner corner, and then whatever's left on the brush, feather near the outer portion, but not all the way, just a tad. I'm gonna go back in with the shade Act a Fool and just feather that in. So circular motions in toward my face, the inside of my face, just so I can help kind of blend the shimmer with this shade. I'm gonna go in All For You, which is that first transition, and lightly just kind of go over my crease, because if anything, when I want to blend my shimmer with my matte shadows, I'll go in with the first something's in my eye. What the heck? As I was saying, I'll take the first transition shade in this area to help smoke it out and blend them together, because to me that's just a better idea than going in with the darker shade and then bringing that all into your crease, because then we're going to get into that whole fiasco again of the inner part is too dark, you know, for what you're going for, and it's not gonna look as smooth. And that's why I recommend going with your first transition shade, your lighter shade. And even if you have to, like, you could go in with Expose, which is that white shade we were talking about, and even use that to help kind of soften the edges. I'm just softening out the edge. There's nothing on it. I'm just softening it, because you know how I am. I love a good softening. And I could literally sit here all day just kind of playing around, going back and forth. I think this is dark enough for the day. If you want to deepen this up, I would recommend going in with Baubles, which is this kind of cooler toned brown shade right here. It does have a little shimmer in it, but when I just swatched it, yeah, I guess it did have some, didn't it? Barely. You could blend that out, honestly, but whatever. I would do that, and then if you really wanted to do it, like maybe just a little smokiness on the lash or something, I would go in with the black. But if you're comfortable with black, afraid, I was gonna say, but if you're not afraid of going into it, then go ahead, go into the black. Me personally, I know I'm gonna make this accidentally a really dark night look if I go into the black, so I'm gonna leave it this way, and then I'll do the rest of my face and then calculate what I want to do, if I want to make it darker or not. Because if anything, you can always build your makeup to having a bigger, more intensity to it, but you can't take away. So I'd rather just start slow and then just kind of go from there. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do this eye and I'll come right back. Go into some brow mascara. I don't feel like doing anything too crazy with my brows, so I'm just going to use this Maybelline one just to fill in the tail. That turned out really good. I don't think I'll be able to match that on the other eye. Okay, so I'm just mixing up some L'Oreal Fresh foundation with the Neutrogena Hyaluronic Skin Tint one, I think. And then honestly, because it saves time, I like to take a stippling brush and then run it down my neck. Just because that brush, I don't want it dragging all over my neck, because one, that can't be good for your skin, but this just helps like get it out there. You can see I'm avoiding my under eyes because I'm still experimenting on how I want to work with that, you know. Now what I'm gonna do, I did it last night and I liked the way it came out, so I want to do it again. I'm trying to reach my brushes because I'm far away from them. I'm gonna take this brush, Luxie small contouring brush. I got it in a BoxyCharm a while ago. Personally, I really love using this as a cream contour. Well, it's not even a contour, it's a bronzer. Take this, tap just a little bit. And if you want, you can even tap off a little bit on your hands so you're not going in crazy. And then just kind of pat it in. Obviously, you probably are like, Vivian, I don't have time to do all this. And I agree with you. I don't either. But when I do, this is what I do. And of course, I'm not perfect at makeup. I'm not a professional makeup artist. Now, when it comes to the nose, I hate contouring the nose. I really do. I hate it. It's not fun. If I have to do it, which I would because everything else is warm and then this isn't, I take an old Anastasia brush from those palettes and I just take a little bit and just go like this. Get the little bridge of the nose just to have a tiny bit of definition, nothing crazy, just like this. And you can pat like this or kind of rub. I barely have any product on this thing, which is how I like it because I feel like I can always go a little too crazy on my nose and then I look silly. I'd rather just give it a subtle amount so it just looks like a nose. Okay. No need to contour it like crazy. Unless, of course, you want to. But for me, I'm pretty content with my nose, so. So now what I would like to do is to go in with a little bit of concealer. I did this a little backwards. I should have done that beforehand, but I didn't. And I personally like to take a concealer that's as close to my skin tone as possible. I'm not really into the whole lightening effect. So I'm just going to use a little bit. And then... oh, that's a shimmer brush. That's not the brush you were using, Vivian. Oh my gosh, did I use the wrong brush for this? I did. Ah, this was my concealer brush and I used it for my shimmer eyeshadow. Oops. Okay, I think I might just use my fingers. Okay, I'm just gonna bring it in a little bit. I feel like I was too far. So I'm just gonna use my fingers. Nothing crazy. They're your 10 tools that you naturally have. Let's go in with the Colourpop E19 brush. Now this is smaller than the E16. See? See how little it is? I love this brush. I really, really love it. It's my favorite brush, I think, out of the entire collection. Or the brush roll, to be honest. So I'm just going to clean it off. It looks dirty, but it's because I used darker colors with it earlier. But I'm just going to take the All For You shade, which was the first transition. And we're going to apply this under here. And again, this is kind of a way to set your under eye without having to use a whole lot of powder. At least I do this because I really hate setting my under eyes with powder. I feel like I always look like a travesty under my eyes. I have very wrinkly under eyes. I've always had them, so I try not to accentuate it. And this is kind of one of the ways. Another way is I like to really smoke out my under eye just because it hides it. It really does, and I like it, so I don't mind it. Meshing the top and the bottom together. Bring whatever's left inside. And honestly, just feel for it. Like, I mean, you can hold your mirror up like this and like watch. But I'm good. I'll just feel for it. And then I'll take Active Full, which is that darker brown or purple we were using earlier. And just focus it here. Now, since I like to smoke it a little bit, I'm using a brush this big. But usually you would want to take something that's like a flat top brush. Like, say, oh, excuse me. I can't find the one for Alamar, but like this right here. It's a pretty flat, thin brush, as you can see. See how thin it is? Like, you could do that, or like this Coastal Scents one. It's squared also, but see how it's fluffier? It's pretty fluffy. And I would use that to kind of smoke out the bottom too. Depending on your eye shape and like, you know, you don't want, you know, you'll use what kind of brush you want for the darker. But ideally you're supposed to take the dark brown or the darker kind of shades and kind of keep them closer to the lash line. But I just like to keep it closer to the outer part of my eye. I like it. It's real cute. Okay, so now the other side. I'm going to try Silk Teddy because it's a little lighter, but it's still in the same family. Ooh, yeah. That's pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. I like that. I love this shade, man. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I would go in with Idle Hour, which is kind of like that cream shade we were talking about earlier, but in a shimmery form. But for me, I feel like it's too yellow for the look. It doesn't go with my color scheme that I'm thinking of in my head. So I'm gonna try the On the Cusp Super Shock Cheek. I always have problems saying that. Little highlighter. I have to thank Frida for this one. I've talked about Frida a million times on my channel, and I'm not going to stop, honestly. And she was telling me about this, and she was like, you should try the highlighters, because I told her I'd never tried the highlighters from Colourpop, and she was like, well, you need to try this shade. Because I remember she talked about it a while ago on her video, but I never got it. And I finally got it, and I really like the shade. It's pretty. What in the world do I have going on over here? Oh, Lord, Vivian. Oh, Lord. What in the world? So I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighter. I just like the way my skin's naturally glowing right now. And now to tie it together, I'm going to take a blush. I'm going to take the shade Between the Sheets by Colourpop. And I'm going to apply this on my face. And just kind of, almost as if where I would put bronzer or highlighter, I like to put it almost in the exact same spot. I'm trying this one out. I bought it yesterday. It's the Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Extensions. And it's heavy. It's heavy. It feels like the Cusp mascara I used to have. I'm just gonna apply some of this. Okay, so this is how the mascara is looking. I really want you guys to let me know what you think of this. I don't know what I'm doing anymore when it comes to lips. But okay, so I put the coconut lipstick from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I was trying to I kind of was on a roll and everything was like being really affordable. But I like to make looks that are affordable, and I know that this isn't a very affordable lipstick. But I did see that these are now at Marshall's. I bought this at Ulta full price. But this is available at, at Marshall's, and I'm sure like TJ Maxx and stuff. So it's at a discounted price now. So that probably makes it a little easier for you guys if you do want to go out and get this. But I did put on top the Maybelline lip gloss. This is like with, I don't know who this lady is, but it's like in collaboration with somebody. And it's the shade Barefoot, which is like this really pink, very metallic-y shade. But if you want, I really like the shade Tan Line, which is like this more cooler tone tan line with a little bit of gold sparkles in it. But it's like a really nudie brown. So you could put that with this too. I wouldn't layer these lip glosses on top of each other, but I just did it. But, you know, do whatever you like. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a really good day, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!